Hey there guys, Micah Curtis here, and I realize it's been a little bit since I've actually done anything on this channel. And part of the reason for that is I've actually been working behind the scenes to get a lot of stuff done, and I really haven't had time to actually sit down and discuss anything comic book related, at least when it's coming to my own work. One thing I will say is that this video is first going to be an update on the progress of 3 Nights, 4 Days, and then will be an update on what we're going to be doing in general for the foreseeable future. So, let's go ahead and get that started. So, 3 Nights, 4 Days. Now, the original due date for 3 Nights, 4 Days was in October. I had said that we would probably be done around that time. I admittedly overestimated how quickly we would be able to get this book done with as complex as it is. Instead, what I'm going to do is basically say that the book will probably be done by the early next year, basically. And then once that book is finished, we will go ahead and fulfill and then get the campaign started for the second part. Now, the great thing about this campaign that has happened thus far is that you guys have brought it to a level that I was not expecting it to go to. Because you have to keep in mind, I didn't go on any massive channels or anything like that aside from Raging Golden Eagles to promote the book. So the fact that we ended up with $21,800, so almost $22K, and 377 backers. This right here is phenomenal. So thank you to all of you for making this happen. This basically guarantees that we are going to have zero issues with anything when it comes to this book. The artists are paid, provided they remember to send me the invoices. I need to remind them to do that. Why do I have to remind people that I need to pay them? But anyway, that's just a joke. I keep up to date on that shit. And that's part of the reason why people like to work with me, is because I do keep up to date with that stuff. On top of that, we've already ordered the materials for shipping. And on top of that, on top of the other stuff that it's on top of, we're going to go ahead and start fulfillment on posters and things along those lines. We'll go ahead and overprint on them, and then go ahead and start sending those out to you guys, because you already paid for the shipping on them. So why not give you a little bit of an early Christmas gift, right? So, needless to say, that's something that's going to go ahead and get done for you guys. However, that doesn't really tell you where the book's at, does it? So let's go ahead and do that. So, these right here are a couple of the newest pages that Preston just turned into me, pencil-wise. And as you can see, of course, his work is incredibly well detailed and is really matching the horror of what I wanted this book to have, on top of having some really good action as well. So here we can see Sir Dietrich, who seems to be everybody's favorite character so far, mostly I would imagine because of the big freaking hammer, fighting the satyr, which is the fight that I've been promising for a while. I'm like, somebody's fighting that thing, and it's going to be crazy. And then you can see here, of course, Sir John and Sir Roger still fighting the satanic cult as our brave mountain of a man continues to fight that big freaking demon. And I have to say, these guys are making one of the best comic books I've ever seen art-wise. It's a bloody, gory mess and a lot of fun. Now you're wondering, Micah, again, that doesn't tell us where your page count's at. Page 23 is penciled. That is the most recent page, so 1 through 23 is done, putting us past the halfway point, and we're almost past the halfway point on coloring. It's right behind that. So I would say we'll probably be done by the end of the year, I would think. But it would still have to be lettered and printed, which is why I'm saying early 2021 is by the time you're going to start getting this in your hands. Again, I do apologize for overestimating things. I think from now on, whenever I put a book out, what I'm going to do is just basically say 6 months. And then we'll aim for 4, but promise 6. Because I would rather, under-promise and over-deliver than the opposite, because I made that same mistake with Englewood, and clearly I did not learn my lesson. Lesson learned now. Speaking of Englewood, one thing to mention on top of that is that we did run a second chance campaign. So if you missed out on it, I am sorry. We're not printing the first issue again. Now, we are considering selling the overprint on eBay. and opening up an eBay store, but we haven't finalized anything with that yet. So stay tuned for that if that does indeed happen, because we do have some overage we would still like to sell you guys if you're interested. Now, we are going to go ahead and put in the order for those books as well. So when we start shipping out the Englewood Second Chance campaign, that is when we're going to go ahead and start shipping out everything that was merch-wise with 3 Nights, 4 Days. So definitely something to keep your eyes out for. One final thing I should mention, by the way, is if you have not backed 3 Nights, 4 Days yet, you're waiting a little bit longer to do so. It's going to stay in demand for a while, so you've got an opportunity. One thing, though, I would say is you should definitely not pass up on this here. This is the alternate cover made by my friend Vinny Tartamella, who is an incredibly talented artist. He has another book that's up that has a mailing list up called Shadow of the Kraken that you should also have a look at on top of that. He's a good friend and a phenomenally talented guy, and he put together an amazing tribute cover to basically pay tribute to one of my biggest inspirations for the book, which is John Carpenter's Prince of Darkness. And it's a great cover. It obviously, you have one of the cultists down there, you have the knights, you have our villainess there, who is known as the Midnight Witch, who is, this is actually the first anybody has seen of her yet. And then the gray-haired old man, I'm not spoiling who he is, but let's just say he's important. But anyway, if you haven't picked up that cover already, please do consider doing so. If you already backed the book, we actually sent you a link so that you can just basically add this onto your current purchase if you want that cover. Or if you decide you just want Vinny's cover instead of the original, just email us through the campaign and we will go ahead and make your order switched. So no worries there. All right, guys. So that's what's going on with the current campaigns. With future stuff, obviously 3 Nights, 4 Days Part 2 is what's next. But on top of that, Englewood Book 2 has been completely scripted, as I've said for a while. Brian, our artist on that, is in the process of moving to a different state because Lord knows I can't blame him for getting out of Illinois. It is very expensive to live here. But on the flip, but the good news is he'll be in a good, stable place. So if everyone could give your well wishes to Brian, he's obviously a very talented artist. The cover that he and Armand did for the Englewood Second Chance campaign was fucking beautiful. And the next book, he's going to go ahead and get started on pages the instant his move is finished. So that's pretty freaking cool. So we're hoping to be very ahead of schedule by the time we launch the Englewood Part 2 campaign next year. Another thing that me and the Graded Point 5 team have been mulling around is, since Peregrine Book 2 and Englewood Book 2 will be on Indiegogo around the same time, is we're thinking of trying to do a print where you get one half of it if you back Peregrine Book 2 and one half of Englewood Book 2, and then you could just put them together like a big poster, because next year, of course, is the Englewood Peregrine crossover, which I have already written that as well. And I will say it was a ton of fun to write a book, and write this new character of Peregrine. She's an awesome character. So if you have not backed Peregrine Wings of the Falcon already, I would imagine most of you already have, but if you haven't, go do so. It's going to be amazing. Anyway, other things that are planned for next year, I'm doing a collaboration work that is still being ironed out with my friend Liam Gray. We're going to do a short book together. I'm also working on a mecha story with Xavier Harkonnen of Graded Point 5. We're going to work on that bit by bit in the background. Other stuff we have planned for next year, the other big plan that I have, or plans I should say, are just 2 more books, which is Project Lazarus finally coming to your doorstep, on top of also doing The First Servant, which is my vampire story, which I'm really looking forward to writing, because I really get a kick out of writing horror. So, a lot of stuff on my plate, a lot of stuff coming from Sleeveless Comics in the future. I just wanted to put this video out there to let you guys know that I didn't forget about it. I've just been so busy, I didn't even realize I hadn't updated the channel in a while. So in the future, this channel, of course, will sit here for any time that I decide to do solo live streams here on YouTube and talk comic books or what have you. Late Night Micah will probably make a return at some point when I kind of have my schedule a little bit more evened out, because on top of that, I also do just normal fun chill streams on Twitch on occasion as well. So with all that said, I'm going to go ahead and take off. Thank you so much for watching this video, if nothing else than to get a project update on 3 Nights, 4 Days. And just stay tuned to what we got going on here on this channel, because all comic book updates are going to be done here from now on top of maybe more creator interviews and things along those lines, and discussions about what the future is. So with all that said, my name is Micah Curtis, head of Sleeveless Comics and your favorite Vanilla Gorilla, and I just realized I wore sleeves this whole time. So feel free to shame me in the comments. I'll see you guys next time.